Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karva Vahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahaihi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Okay, so we are at chapter 8 and today we'll be doing verse 24. So in verse 23, Krishna Bhagavan was telling Arjun, now at what time departing yogins go never to return, as also to return. That time I will tell you. So he had told Arjuna that I'm going to tell you the different paths. One is a path of return and no return, and one is a path of return. So this is also related to, just to have the right context, and the beginning of the chapter in verse 2, Arjuna had asked that question to Bhagwan, that how at the time of death are you to be known by the self-controlled? So, all this is related to that. As the chapter is progressing, he is giving him more different answers, and combined that tells you the whole thing. So there could be different scenarios. So one is that you attain the highest while you are on this earth. Isko jivan mukti bolo, moksha, liberation, whatever you want to call it. But if you don't get that, then what happens for the sadhak? Here we are talking about the sadhak mainly. So then these are the two paths. And this verse that we are going to do has an extremely mystical language. So if we didn't have the support of all the commentaries from the saints and sages, we won't understand this verse at all. We will take it totally wrong. So that's why there are certain verses in Bhagavad Gita that require a lot of contemplation and understanding what they are pointing at. Because you cannot take the word meaning, because it will not do justice to that verse at all. So this is one of those verses. So just keep that in mind. So the verse is Agnir Jyotirah Shuklaha Shanmasa Uttarayanam Tatra Prayata Gachanti Brahma Vido Janaha. Agni is fire. We all know that. Jyoti also we know, light. Ahaha, we have seen this word, means daytime. Shuklaha, जो हम लोग बोलते हैं शुक्ल पक्ष कृष्ण पक्ष. So शुक्ल पक्ष जिसमें चंद्रमा बढ़ता है, इसकी रोशनी बढ़ती है. The bright fortnight they call it in English. Shan masaha means 6 months. In a year, there are 12 months, so 6 months. Uttarayanam, this Shan masa goes with Uttarayanam. So Uttarayanam is, northern course of the sun. Sun appears to move 6 months in a year. It moves northern side, another 6 months southern side. So it's Uttarayana, Dakshinayan bolte hain usko Sanskrit mein. So ye northern course of the sun. Tatra, there. Prayataha, departed. The people like who, leave this body and leave. Gachanti, to go. Brahma, we know, Brahman, that ultimate reality. Brahma vidaha. Brahman, knowing, means the one who know about that ultimate reality. At least intellectually they know about it. Janaha, people. So what are they saying in this verse is, Krishna Bhagavan had mentioned in the earlier verse, I'm going to tell you the two paths. So he's talking about the path of no return over here. So this path leads to the final realization, but it's also called Krama Mukti. It's going in stages. That's what it means over here. So it goes to the higher and higher planes. Means it's going in the right direction, if you think about it that way. Brahma Loka. Ultimately, it reaches the Brahma Loka, and there you continue the spiritual journey in the Brahma Loka and then attain the state of liberation. or supreme state of realization. And our teacher used to say that Brahmaji gives you that gyan over there. Brahmaji is your teacher. Imagine that, So that's the path. So this path is indicated by many different names, and these names are starting with Agni over here. So and when you see all these names that are mentioned over here, Agni, Jyotir, Shukla, Shanmasa, Uttarayan, these are all related to light, and this is a mystical language. They're all related to light. So like Shukla Paksha, we know, bright fortnight, इसमें चंद्रमा की रोशनी बढ़ती जाती है, फिर वो पूर्ण चंद्रमा हो जाता है. And then Uttarayan, I think that most of the people know, and here in San Diego, you can see that movement of the sun a lot. Like I'm from Mumbai. In Mumbai, you didn't see that much because we were right at the equator. So there was, daylight was always 12 hours in the whole year. Hardly there was any change. And where the sun set also was not that different. But here it moves so much, and you see the difference in the sunlight. You have 4:30 baje andhera ho jata tha, right? And then sometimes in the summer, it's there till 8:30 and all that. There's light. So यहाँ पर ज़्यादा दिखाई देता है वो, and Uttarayan and Dakshinayan. So when the sun appears to move, it actually is not moving, but the way the earth and the moon and everything moves, you feel that way, or the sun. So if you watch the sunset and sunrise, you will see that it rises in the east and sets in the west. But 6 months, it will go north, towards the north, appears to go, and the 6 months to south. So when it appears to go to the north, that's called Uttarayan. So that's what they're talking about when this is 6 months of Uttarayan. So these are the various names of this path, and they represent all light of knowledge. That's the most important thing to understand, that light represents what? Knowledge in our scriptures. And darkness is always ignorance, is connected with ignorance. So this does not mean that if somebody who dies in Uttarayan will go to higher, and when they're 6 months, it doesn't mean that, because that will completely bomb it, the whole meaning. Then they'll say, oh, kitna bhi galat kaam karo, I'll just die in Uttarayan and I will reach. No, aisa nahi hota hai. It's a mystical language. So, the Dilli Wale Swami in Nikhilanandji was joking. He said, ki the bad person, will say, oh, I'm going to do all the bad things, and जब मरने का टाइम आएगा ना, तभी चलो आज मर जाते हैं, आज बहुत अच्छा दिन है. No, ऐसा नहीं होगा, उससे कुछ होने वाला नहीं है, because then it will like same thing like I was thinking about it. गंगा में नहा लो, सारे पाप धुल जाएंगे. So somebody will keep doing the pap and keep coming, oh, now I'm on. No, it's not like that. It doesn't happen. Just think that, hey, you might get inspired not to do any more bad stuff. That's all it is. So in this case, it is mystical language, very, very important to understand that. And he even told about one very interesting drishtant. I thought that was interesting, so I will tell you. So he was saying that people go to Varanasi, right? That हम मरने के लिए, like when you are in really old age. India में वो, some people do that. They say if you leave your body in Varanasi, then you मोक्ष मिल जाता है. So they will go and live there, and they have Vruddhashram there and all that, and they go there to do that. So he was saying that sometimes this is what happens. This old person, who is like not feeling so well and all that, and he thinks, okay, I might die soon, so I want to go to Kashi. So they go there, and when they go there, there's a certain lifestyle in Kashi, right? Because you are in a very holy place and all that. So you will get up early, you will do some satsang, you will go to a Ganga Snan karoge, फिर वापस आओगे. Stress नहीं है. You have kind of already resigned to the fact you are away from all that pollution, all these things of the big city and all that. So by doing this nice routine, your health start coming back. You start feeling better, functioning better. Your digestion gets better. Your mental state gets better, and your joint pain disappear, and then you say, "Arey, मैं तो ठीक हो गया अभी." So then they move back to Delhi again, And सोचे थे कि काशी में जाके देह त्याग करेंगे, फिर move back to Delhi, and वहाँ के pollution से you collapse. So जो सोचा था वो हुआ ही नहीं. So he was just saying कि it does not matter where you die, it's what, in what state you die of your mind and what you have done your sadhana. That's what he was trying to bring you to. That's why he gave that this. So wherever you die, that doesn't matter. Physical time does not matter. Day does not matter. Year does not matter. He's saying there are many great devotees, who have died in Dakshinayan and or night time, and they have still attained higher lokas. So that's why you have to understand the mystical language. So here all he's saying is that by saying these terms, all these terms, Agni, Jyoti, Shukla, Shanmasa, Uttarayan, he is telling you the path of light, path of knowledge. The one who revels in this kind of knowledge, uska sad kya hota hai. So
I have a comment on this.
Huh.
So this is a shorter path because Bhishma Pitama, he has Iksha Mrityu and he waited for Uttarayan to happen before he gave
Yeah,
it.
but that's exactly what. Just because he waited for Uttarayan, it doesn't mean that people who die in Dakshinayan are not. If their mental state is high and they are connected with God, they'll still get it. So this is how Chinmayananji and I my mind connects with this kind of thing a lot more than to say that physical time of death is important. No, it's not. Your mental state and what sadhana you have done is more important. So when they say Uttarayan over here in this shloka, it has a very specific connotation, path of light. And that is
the very fact you think of that way, you are already on your path.
Yeah.
If you are very bad, then you wouldn't think of Uttarayan.
Yeah, but this word Uttarayan over here, we cannot take it like a word meaning because it will... फिर तो वही बात हो गई ना कि गंगा में स्नान कर लो सारे पाप धुल जाएंगे. धुलते हैं? You think so? Your intellect is not going to accept that. फिर रावण को भी जाके गंगा में स्नान कर लेना तो सारे पाप धुल जाएंगे. फिर रामचंद्र जी को मारने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. It's okay.
Take a longer path, that's up to you. But
yeah, and the longer path he's going to talk about it in the next verse, and then he will call it Dakshinayan. But what Dakshinayan represents, the path of darkness. That's right. All. So, you can take it the way you want. I have no problem with that. But I'm just going through what, and then maybe after we finish, see if it connects what you're saying. So, basically what they're trying to say over here is, with all these terms, that one who dies in the light of wisdom, that person will go to the higher planes. Okay, and then. So we saw that one scenario where somebody already got the realization, Jivan Mukti. Okay, so usko to mil gaya ki while he is on the earth, he got the highest. But if he did not attain the highest, like Krishna Bhagavan talked about it in chapter 6, that Arjun asked that question. Hey, I am doing all this sadhana, and in the middle of it, I kicked the bucket. I have not reached the highest. Mera kya hoga? Will I just get lost in this universe? He said, no. Anybody who does something good, they're not going to get lost. That was his promise. So he goes through an ascending path. That's what he's telling, that, this path denotes the knowledge and wisdom one attains by practicing the path of spirituality. Whatever you have attained, that's what this particular verse is pointing towards. So if we have this understanding, then our goal also will become clear to us. Okay? And what does the second line say? It says, Tatra prayata gachanti brahma vido janaha. It says that the one who goes through this path, they attain Brahman, and Brahma vida jana means the knower or the upasak of Brahma, the one who try to understand what Brahman is. And in this chapter, Krishna Bhagavan already started going in detail about what Brahman is. Those two verses, Kavim Puranam, Anushasitaram, that one, I think it was verse 8, I believe. Don't know exactly, but those are the things that once you start learning what Upasak of Brahma and meditate on that Brahman and do the Upasana, it could be Omkar Upasana or whichever way you want to do it, or just meditating on Brahman. While you are doing that, if you are not realized the highest, then you will, when you die, you will go through this path. So what they are trying to say is the one whose mind is tuned to Brahman. So that person doesn't need to come back to this earth. Like our teacher used to say that this earth is like a school, you have to graduate from here. So जब कोई फेल होता है ना, उसको वापस आना पड़ता है वही क्लास में फेंको वापस. So that's what it is. That it is, you don't need to come, because this is a dukhalaya. Krishna Bhagavan already said it. Ashashvatam, dukhalaya ashashvatam. It's temporary and it is dukhalaya. Nobody needs to tell us about it. So, and then also he was reminding us, Nikhilanandji, that in chapter 6 we learned two things, Abhyas and Vairagya. We have to practice both. That hey, Abhyas and when the practice becomes good and you are kind of more and more established in as Abhyas and Vairagya, then you don't come back. But if you are very, very weak in it, जैसे वो जो फेल और पास का एक लेवल बनाते हैं ना, कि इसके नीचे अगर होएगा तो फेल हो गए तुम, इसके ऊपर हो गया तो पास हो गए. तो वैसे ही वो अभ्यास और वैराग्य का लेवल है कि अगर तुम ज़्यादा नहीं सीखा, कम सीखा, तो वापस आना पड़ेगा, और अच्छे से थोड़ा वो सीख लिया and you are still not there, then you go further.
Umaja, one request.
Yes.
What is the metric yard in this journey? That, okay, how much understood and you have gone towards moksha? Is there a metric yard for this thing?
I don't think that they have like a जो आपके साइंस में होता है ना कि भाई अपना ब्लड का लेवल देखो, उसमें कितना आयरन है, कितना, वैसा तो नहीं है. And I was going to come to that point, what you are saying. Okay?
But any indications?
Yes, so indications are definitely there. And
Thank you.
So what it is that, this topic, this one very important point over here, now that he brought that up, that I'll bring that there is no physical proof here of all these things, that what Krishna Bhagavan is saying. कि भाई मेरे को दिखाओ. हमने डिस्कस किया था ना लास्ट वर्ड्स में कि कोई कैमरा नहीं जाता है तुम्हारे साथ, कोई ये वाला कैमरा ना अदृश्य वाला भेज दो उसके साथ, तो देखो कहाँ जा रहा है वो जीव. We don't know. After somebody dies, we have no clue because we are not there yet, right? So how do we know that? We depend on the scriptures. And in scriptures, it's a very popular theme. That's why you have to have Shraddha with the scripture. That these people, जिन्होंने मोक्ष प्राप्त कर लिया है, जो जीवन मुक्त हैं, जो इस धरती पे हैं, वो हमको बता रहे हैं. वो श्रद्धा नहीं होगी तो आप मानोगी नहीं उसकी बात, And of course, Shastras में, this is a very popular theme because everybody wants to know. Whether you are Nastik or Astik, we all want to know what happens after death and where are we going and all that. Some Charvaka type of people might think that, oh, once you die, there's nothing left. तो ठीक है फिर वो उनको सोचने दो. वैसे अगर तुम सोचते हो कि कुछ है तो क्या है, मैं कहाँ जाऊँगा, कहाँ जाऊँगी. So those are the things. So Kathopanishad also mentioned, में हम लोग ने किया हुआ है हमारी क्लास में. There were a lot of people who were here when we did the Kathopanishad. That they were, उसमें mention किया था, there are two places that you can get state of realization. And you can go back and refer to it now if you want. One is this Bhulok. यहाँ से भी तुमको मिल सकता है वो highest. Okay? And the second one is, if you don't get it here, you can get it at Brahmalok. This Krama Mukti, that you go ascending order and then you get it over there. So this, यहाँ पर ये वाले वर्ष में Krama Mukti की बात की गई है. Okay? And then if you are not going towards this ascending order, then you may go to some other lokas. There are many different scenarios are there and you can experience joy and sorrow over there. And उसको हम लोग नर्क और स्वर्ग भी बोल सकते हैं. Right? कि नर्क में गया, स्वर्ग में गया. So चिन्मयानंद जी के कमेंट्री में था कि ऐसा नहीं होता है कि नर्क में जा रहा है तो बस वो टॉर्चर करने के लिए जा रहा है बस, और कुछ है ही नहीं काम वहाँ पे. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. You are trying to get rid of your vasanas over there, which is like some deep negative tendencies that भर गई है हमारे में. So he used to call it like a laundromat. कि जैसे होता है ना कि क्लीनिंग जगह नर्क. हाँ, सो अगर हमारे कपड़े गंदे हो जाए बहुत, तो हम लोग यहाँ का लॉन्ड्रामेट को छोड़ो, पता नहीं कौन सी मशीन में लड़के क्या करते हैं. इंडिया में क्या करते हैं, धोबी को दो तो क्या करता है वो कपड़े को पीटेगा, जोर जोर से पीटेगा, और अगर बहुत कुछ गंदगी है तो उबाल भी देगा उसको. हाँ, फिर जो कपड़ा एकदम साफ होके बाहर निकलेगा, right? Because नर्क में ऐसा ही है. So don't take it so negatively. कि you are, you will. This is just a joke. That's why Chinmayananji also joked a lot, and his language was sometimes, you could call it almost crude, and some people mind it like, hey, why is it? But he was telling a point. So it's like a नरक में ना स्पेशल वॉशिंग होती है तुम्हारी, स्पेशल डिटर्जेंट, स्पेशल टेम्परेचर से, स्पेशल टेक्निक से तुम बाहर निकलते हो तो सारी तुम्हारी दैट पर्टिकुलर वासना इज गॉन. सो ऑटोमेटिकली जैसे बटन यहाँ के बोला मशीन में बटन दबाया और फिर चले गए और वापस आए तो फिर धुल के कपड़ा निकला था, वैसा सोचो. एंड देन निखिलानंद जी ने एक और भी जो किया, बोला कि जब when somebody is born, you don't know where they are coming from. You have no clue. तो इसे कि अगर कोई बहुत मुस्कुराता है और बहुत खुश रहता है तो स्वर्ग से आया है. और कोई बहुत गुस्से में रहता है और बड़ा एंग्री सा रहता है तो शायद नर्क से आया होगा, इसके लिए कर रहा है. It's just joking. Don't take it too seriously. So what do we learn in this shloka? That if we have done upasana, you have done karma yoga, you have reached the upasana state, you try to understand what Brahman is, and you are trying to strive for it very, very sincerely, you will go through this path of light and eventually get the self-realization. That's what it's saying in a nutshell. And the next verse will tell you what happens to people who are not reveling in Brahman and just want some desires to be fulfilled. Unka kya hoga, wo next mein hoga. So now, any question, comment? Oh, yeah.
One thing, it isn't a question. It is just like when Chinmayananda was coming to Lucknow, he used to give lectures in the winter. I was that time short spell in the Lucknow. Mm-hmm. So when he was telling this Sharik and Narak, so maybe I asked him a stupid thing. I asked him that, sir, in order to go to Jannat or heaven, you have to die first. He said, why? I said, then show me where is Jannat and where is hell. But what I understand a little bit, maybe that is stupidity of my understanding, that in order to go to heaven, you do good deeds and then you go to heaven. But where is that heaven? For me, the heaven and hell is here. Everything seems to be here.
See, everything is here. True. Everything is here, but also we want to know. People want to know now after death what happens. So you can take it both ways. Hell and heaven, you can...
It's a psychological fear to generate a psychological fear in order you can do good things. It is good. I'm not saying it's bad. But whether there is something separate as a heaven, just like Muslims say that you go to heaven and you get pretty women there, then the question is asked to Zakir Nasir, Nayak, that if you go to heaven, you are supposed to die. If you die, then what you will see? Isn't that...
No, but why do you think that after death that you are completely disappeared? We have learned that the subtle body still continues. And if you go and see the account of near-death experience, you will see that only physical body is died. Your mind and intellect is still continuing. So that's why I'm saying that this is a question
Atma
of...
does not die. I agree with you. I completely... I get a little feeling also, Atma, it is not physical form, it gets changed, it gets deformed, degraded. That whatever that inner energy or Atma, that doesn't die. I agree with you. That for that I am completely convinced myself, even though I don't have proof.
Yeah, no, but that's exactly what I said, that we have to have Shraddha, because we will only know after we die. But until then, if you want to know that you hear people...
Shraddha, you are bringing a word Shraddha is a faith. Bhagavad Gita does not tell you generate a faith. Bhagavad Gita, if I understood a little bit.
Okay, there is one verse in Bhagavad Gita, it says, Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. So you can go and study that verse and see, and since you have heard Swamiji, you can go listen to his commentary. Shraddha is not a blind faith.
I was very young that time.
Yeah, but Shraddha is not blind faith. Shraddha is backed by your intellect. That you are slowly getting convinced, then you call it Shraddha. It's a blind faith. Somebody said it. हमारे शास्त्रों में ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है कि किसी ने बोल दिया तो तुमने मान लिया. अभी वो आएगा तैत्तिरीय उपनिषद में. If you're going to stay for the whole class, that whole thing will come. The Swamiji is a very long commentary about that there is no such thing as blind faith in us. we are, encouraged to ask questions and get convinced yourself. But in the end, nobody can convince you about anything. It's your own understanding and feeling. And if you understand it one way or another person understands it another way, that's also okay. We don't need to.
Convincing. I'm not worried about convincing. I'm not worried.
Umay, can I say something?
Yes, of course.
Can we leave this discussion after that, like the way we decided? Because let's just finish our reading first.
Okay, I think that's a good point, because we have a schedule to finish like this verse, and we have to read it. And then what we do is, after we finish our class, we stay back. Whoever has question of this kind of discussion, we can do that at that time, because there is no end to those arguments back and forth. So I think that's a good suggestion. Okay, let's read any other. But if there is any relevant question to this, I want to open it up to other people too.
I have one relevant.
Yes.
I always wondered, those who already attained moksha, some of them, they come back and help people.
Of course. कृष्ण भगवान आए कि नहीं, अवतार तो वही होते हैं ना.
I know. So who decides that?
You will decide with all your क्या बोलते हैं. See, when we think like that, हम लोग को लगता है कि, hey, what is this system? Just like we have a system on this earth. This is my feeling after studying all this, so many things. तो at that level also, ब्रह्मा जी की भी तो मंत्रणा करते हैं ना, जाके शिव जी से और ब्रह्मा जी से उन लोग की मीटिंग होती है भाई, कि भाई ये काम करना है, ऐसे ऐसे करना है, फिर वो भेजेंगे. Like for example, I'm reading Ramayana right now, Valmiki Ramayana, because I have read Ramcharitmanas, and Valmiki Ramayana is quite different in many ways. उसमें उन्होंने बताया कि जब विष्णु जी ने डिसाइड किया ना कि इज गोइंग टू टेक अवतार एज राम, राइट? सो जितने भी, एंड देन ही हैड अ होल प्लान कि भाई वो ऐसे ऐसे करेंगे, वानरों से सहायता लेंगे वगैरह वगैरह. सो वानर और रीछ वगैरह जो पैदा हुए ना, वो सारे स्पिरिचुअल लोग थे, बड़े बड़े ऋषि मुनि, और जैसे कि बाली एंड दिस क्या बोलते हैं, अंगद वगैरह, वो सब, not Angad, what is the other name? Sugriv was a Suryaputra, right? So they had lot of अंश of all these divinity, and मतलब लाखों की संख्या में वो उन्होंने जन्म लिया सभी लोगों ने. तो वो प्लांट करके आए थे. So they were not ordinary बंदर पकड़ के ले गए कि भाई चलो बनाएंगे. नहीं, they were like so strong mentally, physically. उनकी जो सेना है ना, वो उसका डिस्क्रिप्शन पढ़ो तो रोंगटे खड़े हो जाएंगे. सो इट वाज नॉट अ ऑर्डिनरी प्लान. सो जब कोई आता है तो सब सोच के आते हैं वो लोग कि दीज आर हायर पीपल, आर द हायर लो कास्ट, दे डिसाइडेड टू कम टू अर्थ टू डू दिस जॉब. सो दे न्यू व्हाई दे आर कमिंग. And same with gopis. We think gopis are ordinary women. No, they were rishi munis who took birth as gopis because they wanted to experience the love of Brahman in a physical form. So that's why they came on this earth, to experience that. So that's what it is. That's what I understood. Yeah, Naresh, you have something to say? We can hear you.
I want to say, Valmiki ji, he was living at that time. He was part of the what was happening there at that time.
Yes, that's why this is his account, and even same with Mahabharata. Mahabharata and Ramayana are considered history of India, which a lot of us know. We were never told when we were studying history class, because they don't teach them. They call it mythology, some kind of nonsense. That's not true, because the people who wrote those things, they were part of it. And then if you read, Valmiki Ramayana, उनको वो शक्ति दी गई थी स्पेशल कि उनको पूरा वृत्तांत एकदम क्लियरली दिखाई देगा, just like as though it's happening right now. When he wrote it, some people get that vision. That's why these Vedas are called Apurusha Veda, means it is not by some human being's mind, because human mind is extremely limited. We cannot, beyond certain things, and like Sadhguru was saying that if I'm looking at this glass, I'm just looking at one side. I'm not even looking at another side. My vision is so limited, I cannot see that side. So it's so limited. So then this Divya Drishti is given to these people that they can see and write because there is a higher purpose for it. Okay, you know what? I have to go open the door. Nobody is there in the house. So I'm going to go open it. Okay, so I'm going to just come back in a minute.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year, Geeta.
Happy New Year.
Geeta, Happy New Year.
Very good to see everyone in the new year.
Yes, let somebody lead the show now.
Okay, I'm back. Okay, so any other question or comment before we read connected with this? Any volunteers to read? A lot of people are there. Oh, Meeraji is back. Would you like to?
I think Sushilji raised his hand.
Okay, he did.
If it's
Sushilji
okay
can
with
read
you.
it. Yeah, I didn't see because there are so many people now. I missed it. Sorry.
It's okay. You do better job. Go ahead.
No, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है.
ऐसा तो बिल्कुल नहीं है.
अच्छा, I'll tell you what. Sushil ji can read the Upanishad. You can read this, Neeraji. That's fine.
Okay. Fire, light. Oh, I think you are supposed to read the Upanishad. I am reading the Geeta. Sushilji.
I like the
Fire.
enthusiasm. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah.
Yeah. Fire, light, daytime, the bright fortnight, the 6 months of the northern solstice. Following this path, men who know Brahman go to Brahman. This and the following stanzas have been commented upon very differently by different commentators, and some, in their utter despair, have even wrongly judged these passages as extremely obscure. This passage makes use of the mystic language of the Upanishads, and everyone, except those who have made a thorough and deep study of the Upanishads, is apt to despair in not finding any sense in them. But we should not forget that the Gita is the milk collected from the cows of the Upanishads.
Okay, so here Swamiji explained it very, very nicely. No doubt left that please don't go by the word meaning because like I said, it won't make any sense that somebody will say the time of the day or the year or the position of the sun is going to affect where you go. Your intellect is not going to accept that. And he said that's not true anyway. This is coming from the Upanishads, and there, which हमने गीता ध्यानम किया था ना, तो उसमें ये है कि Upanishad is firstly Upanishad is the Vedas are like milk. No, Vedas are like cow. And Krishna भगवान ने उसमें से milk निकाला है because उसका जो essence है ना वो निकाल लिया और अर्जुन को बछड़ा बोला है. बछड़े को पिलाया बट बछड़े को पिलाने के बाद दूध हमेशा बच जाता है बिकॉज दैट्स व्हाट द काउ की खासियत होती है कि वो इतना दूध प्रोड्यूस करती है कि वो बछड़े के बाद फिर हम भी पी सकते हैं उसको. सो दैट्स हाउ इट इज. अर्जुन को पिलाने के बाद हम भी पी रहे हैं. सो दैट्स व्हाट द होल यहाँ पर मीनिंग है. बट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड द उपनिषद. सम वर्सेज आर लिटिल मोर मिस्टिकल. And if you study the Upanishad, you will get the answers more clearly. That's what he was saying. So these saints and sages, they study all the Upanishad. That's why they know it.
Here, in the stanza, the path of gradual liberation, Kram Mukti, is explained. According to the tradition of Upanishads, he who lived a life of rituals, karmas, and worship, upasana, to enjoy the result so accrued, will walk the path of the gods, Devyana, and entering through the sun, will go beyond it to Brahmalok. There he enjoys the supersensuous bliss till the end of the cycle, when, along with the Creator, he gets total liberation. This path of the gods is indicated here by the terms borrowed from all the Upanishads, which have a wealth of suggestiveness to all students of the Rishi declarations.
So, and then can you read that footnote of number 2?
Yeah. For elaborate explanation, read Swamiji's discourse on the
Prashnopanishad. Okay, so that was number 3. So number 2 में उन्होंने बोला है, there is a description of these two paths mentioned here in the Brahma Sutra, formulated by the author of the Geeta as well as the Chandogya, Brahad Aranyak, Prashna and Kathopanishad. So देखो कितने सारे उपनिषद में ये सब मेंशन, वहाँ से ये पुल आउट किया है सारा, अग्नि ज्योतिर शुक्ल षण्मासा उत्तरायण एंड ऑल दैट, बिकॉज दे इन सब उपनिषद में डिफरेंट जगह वो मेंशन किया हुआ है, एंड इट हैज़ अ स्पेसिफिक मीनिंग, एंड उसका सार यही है कि द पीपल यू डू लाइफ ऑफ रिचुअल. को पुराने ज़माने में वो यज्ञ यागा वगैरह करते थे ना, जो उसको कर्म कांड बोलते हैं. यहाँ पर भगवद गीता में दे कॉल इट कर्म योगा, दैट यू नो हे यू डू अ प्रॉपर एक्शन विद सरेंडर एंड ऑल दैट एंड यू विल गेट दैट रिजल्ट. उससे प्योरीफाई होगा माइंड, एंड देन यू डू द उपासना. You try to understand who Brahman is, and then you try to connect with it. So the person who is doing that upasana is also very important to do. Then the result will be that you will walk the path of these gods, which are declared by all the light and all that path of knowledge. You will be going ascending order. अच्छी जगह पे जाओगे तुम, you know. तो उसको स्वर्ग बोलो, कुछ भी, जो भी नाम देना हो तुम दे सकते हो, कि जहाँ पर यहाँ से कम दुख होएगा. चलो ऐसा सोच लो.
Fire, flame, daytime, the bright fortnight, the 6 months of the northern solstice of the sun. These indicate the path of the gods presided over by the sun. In the Prashnopanishad, this has been vividly brought out when the Upanishad supplies the students with a theory of the creation of multiplicity from the one great truth. It is explained that Prajapati, the creator, himself became the sun and the moon, and these two phenomenal objects are mentioned as representing energy and matter, respectively.
So he's explaining a little more that जो अग्नि ज्योति शुक्ल षण्मासा उत्तरायण सब बताया है, that these are indicate path of the gods presided over by the sun. The path of the sun बोला, उसको ऐसे represent किया हुआ है बस. And then these are coming from these Prashnopanishad and all these other Upanishad that he talked about. That, and then in Prashnopanishad he said कि they even mentioned about, you know, two different phenomena that, and mentioned with energy and matter, sun and the moon. Moon is even from the scientific perspective, it's a reflected light. It's you know, it's just like us, you know, we are like reflected light, you know, the matter. So just little mystical way of explaining, but where he's coming from, he just explained to us that this is coming from all Upanishads. It's like if somebody goes to an engineering college, they have certain terms that they use, and कोई भी engineer होएगा वो 1 minute में समझ जाएगा वो क्या बोल रहा है. A layman may not understand that, right? Same way the Upanishad में जो terms है वो use किए हुए हैं. That's all it's saying.
Identified with the dynamic center in him, a seeker tries to lift the light. Such an upashak of truth, at the time of his departure from his present manifestation in the world, comes to think of the object of contemplation of his whole lifetime, and naturally he goes to the world of his thoughts. As you think, so you become. By entertaining evolutionary thoughts in one's mind all through one's life, one must, after leaving the present embodiment, walk the ascending path of evolution, the path of the gods, indicated here as the path of light and fire, of daytime, of the bright fortnight, of the northern solstice of the sun. Thus, in the mystical language of the Upanishads, the path pursued by those who are great devotees of Brahman, the eternal, is described as the stretching in the direction of the north. These implications are all epitomized, and the rishis of Upanishads often use the term northern route to indicate the path of the gradual liberation.
So, that Swamiji could not have said it more clearly. That don't go by the word meaning, it's an indicative language. और हम लोग ऐसे भी बोलते हैं ना कि English language में भी कुछ है, everything is going south. है कि नहीं? I don't know, Meera ji might know this term. As though everything is going wrong. Does it mean that people who live in the south, हम लोग south में रहते हैं, does it mean everything is wrong? No, it's not. It's just a term. It is accepted in the language. Same way northern route. So we should take it. I found this very, very good, the way he explained. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. कि भाई दक्षिणायन में जब है तो मर जाओ तो फिर तो हम क्या, we're going to hell? No, that's not true. It depends on your mind. And he very, very clearly he said that in the earlier part of the chapter, Krishna Bhagwan said that जो मुझे ananya chinta se chintayanto, means without thinking of anybody else, if he thinks about me, then he will attain me, right? But suppose if that doesn't happen, then it depends on the quality of your thought. You will go according to where you want to go. So if you have spent a good part of your life doing upasana, and you are in that higher mode of thinking, and so when you die, obviously you will go to that path. And if you are only thinking of, oh, मुझे तो मजा करना है, मुझे तो ये करना है और वो करना है, all this मजा वाली चीज़, then you will be thrown back on earth. Go back and do that. Or in some other yoni, like that somebody says कि मेरे को खाने का बहुत शौक. I'm just giving a gross example. Don't go to just an indicative example. कि मुझे खाना है तो eat like a pig. Become a pig. खाओ जितना खाना है, पूरे दिन खाते ही रहो. So जैसी हमारी इच्छा होगी उसके हिसाब से, because हमारे विचार वैसे होंगे. That's what he's telling. I hope that this becomes clear to everybody, because this is important to get the right import of it. So we have another 10-15 minutes. If somebody wants to ask any question or have a discussion, we can have it for 10 minutes before we go to Taittriya. Related to this, of course.
I think it's the same way like Krishna says, if you remember me at the time of your death, you will attain me. It's not, again, it's the same way that if you don't do anything whole life and you think you'll get me at the last moment, it's not going to happen.
Correct.
So that literary meaning cannot be taken.
Very good. Yes.
Part of that.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I think that these commentaries help us so much to understand this, what it is.
Absolutely. That is what I was going to say, that just by reading or by reading the commentary also, it is very difficult to understand until a teacher explains it to you.
Yeah, and that's why like Upanishad ka meaning hi wo hai, sit near the teacher. Without khali aise padhenge to it will go, in fact it's dangerous, because somebody can just take it wrong. Like even in this verse, that they were, if I have to die when the sun is moving towards the north, वो बेचारा इतना एंजाइटी में रहेगा कि वो सब कुछ ही भूल जाएगा. कि अगर ऐसा सोचने लगेगा तो, या काशी में जाके ही मुझे सिर्फ मिलेगा मोक्ष. ऐसा हो सकता है कि, of course this is what happens. There is some truth to it, that like he was saying that if you go to Kashi, your mind will be more in Bhagwan. है कि नहीं? Because the atmosphere is such over there. काशी में जाएगा तो उसको हर जगह शिव जी और ये सभी का दिखाई देगा वहाँ पे. So, and गंगा में स्नान करने का, स्वामी जी ने इतना अच्छा एग्जाम्पल दिया कि इट इज़ लाइक कोई बच्चा एकदम गंदा मिट्टी में खेल रहा है, फिर माँ उसको नहलाती धुलाती है, फिर अच्छे कपड़े पहनाती है, फिर बोलती है अच्छा अब इसको गंदा मत करना, फिर वो थोड़ी देर तक वो भी नहीं करता है, oh my dress is very clean, I don't want to do anything. That's what happens in taking bathing in Ganga, that it हमारे माइंड में इतनी पवित्र है वो कि वहाँ से निकलने के बाद गंदा काम करने का मन नहीं होएगा because you have thought about it so much, so you won't be doing anything bad. So that's the whole thing. So we are, you know, that's why I like Chinmayananji's commentary so much. It's always very, very scientific. He doesn't push anything down your throat that, hey, whatever you don't, doesn't jive with your mind, you know. You have to connect it and then say, yes, this makes sense with, you know, what he's saying.
In India, at least in the past, I know, many Hindus used to, when they were very old, they used to go to Kashi. कि प्राण तो यहीं पे त्यागना है, तो उससे साइकोलॉजिकली भी तो होता होगा कि अब हमारा समय आ रहा है, अब तो हमें अच्छे ही कर्म करने हैं, अब हम काशी भी आ गए हैं, तो now we are looking forward to,
that's what I'm saying, the mind will, you know, you are withdrawing from the, yeah, you are withdrawing from everything because घर के झंझट ये वो, you know, now you're looking somewhere ahead, so of course that is going to have a good effect, there's no doubt. And if उन्होंने कुछ साधना वगैरह की होगी तो वो अच्छे से फ्रूटिफाई होएगा if you are in so that. But अगर कोई काशी में जाकर भी सारा टाइम ये अपने घर के बारे में सोचता रहेगा तो फिर वो कुछ नहीं होने वाला, उससे तो अच्छा कि वो घर पे रह के काशी के बारे में सोचे. See what I'm saying? हाँ. So we have to take it in the right context. Absolutely. Absolutely. So Tejji, do you have any burning thing before we go to our Upanishad?
I don't have any question. I want to thank you to educating me. It is my curiosity which puts me to ask my ignorance.
No, we all are ignorant. None of us. Even I'm also just following Swamiji's commentary.
So the things like you know, as you say, how important is Guru? I think there's no better answer than what Sadhguru says. Do we need GPS when we are where we don't know which direction to go? Same is, if we go in the field of spirituality, my interest is conscious and superconsciousness. The inertia, the energy, where that gets and where you can elevate the mind, you come out of that ignorance or arrogance. If I can be humble, that's my ultimate goal. Can I be humble? Am I enough humble to understand these things? So I read Bhagavad Gita, I like it. The more I read it, I think I become a little, I'm still arrogant, but I still become a little bit humble. So
yeah, it's like a Mahasagar. That's how I look at it. Bhagavad Gita is like a Mahasagar because it is the essence of the entire Upanishad. Upanishads are essence of the Vedas. So there is so much in it that you can read it 100 times and you will still get something more. So that's why I always say that we cannot give up the study of Bhagavad Gita because it can take you to the moksha.
I never said we should give up. I never said.
I'm talking about myself and everybody else, you know, not just you.
My own ignorance sometimes makes me to think, what is a measuring yard? What is this? How we can, you know, otherwise, this all is very important for the brain. As a scientist, I like this, very important for the human brain.
So the yard is, measuring yard is that the more shanti you feel in a chaotic situation,
I agree with you.
Yeah, the more shanti you feel means something is, you are on the right path.
The more humble you become, I think that is one of the measuring yards.
Yeah.
So I can be totally wrong. This is my very narrow.
No, it's okay. We all are trying to learn at whatever level we are. So don't worry about that. We are all in the same boat. That's why we are here.
Apologies if I interrupt you in between, but that is what when I get excited, I can't control
No, that's
myself.
fine. And you know, this class of ours has evolved over 5-6 years. So we have tried to tweak it and make it conducive for everybody. And that's why we made this. Okay, at the end, we will ask questions and things like that. Okay, great. Any other comment or question by anybody else before I close Bhagavad Gita? Okay, so looks like everybody's okay. All right. सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वा सर्वपापेभ्यः मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम.